On today's show, is your band a business? Cue title sequence.
30-minute music marketing for musicians who want to get better at marketing their music.
Hello, I'm Sheldon.
Hi, I'm Greg.
And this is 30-minute music marketing, the show for independent artists and DIY musicians who want to get better at marketing their music. Thanks very much for watching this particular episode, whichever platform you watch it on or even listen to it on. You can find our podcasts wherever you get your podcasts from. Could be Spotify, could be iTunes, could be Anchor FM.
So this show today, is it a deep dive or is it a full episode?
It's part of our deep dive segment where we normally obviously look at the marketing aspects of being a DIY musician. Deep dives are where we have a look at all the other things that concern DIY musicians, and today we're looking again at money, and this is sort of the second part of the two-part episode, I would say, because we started to look at a series of tweets from a DIY band
in our last
week.
episode.
So last week we had a look at maybe what your value is, what your worth is, how much money you should be charging as a musician. Today we're going to be looking more at the money and the finance aspects of being a DIY musician.
Oh, that dirty word.
Money. So I'm going to read the original series of tweets that prompted last week's episode and this week's episode, and this is from a small DIY band based in the northwest of England, and this series of tweets has been edited for clarity, as we said last week, and the tweets went as follows. We're trying to play a gig in Brighton, which is about 250, 300 miles away, I'm guessing, from where they're actually sort of based.
It's a bit of a jaunt.
It is, if you're in the UK at least, and it would cost us £700 for us to get the train. Why do mid-distance gigs pay the same as they did 10 years ago while everything else is far more expensive? A year ago, I would have been able to afford the deposit on a car to hire to get to Brighton. As it is, we have a small band kitty for our, in inverted commas, profits, which we rarely see as we pay for our own travel a lot. After nearly a year, so presumably they've only been going 12 months or so, we don't have any merch because we don't have £200 to blow on t-shirts because we need the money for petrol, trains, digs, that sort of thing. So today we're going to look at the financial aspects of being a DIY musician, DIY band.
Did they also say something about that nobody wants to actually take over the role of the business?
They said that between them, the aspect of looking at money and being in charge of the finances was quite a stressful thing for them.
Bless them.
That's okay. But what I would say now here is that the way musicians look at money is quite a strange thing. I've got here the definition of the musician. Somebody puts a £5,000 guitar into a £500 car to drive to a gig to be paid £50. So again,
that's the logic, isn't it?
That's the logic of a music. We don't do it for the we do it for the money. Well, we'd like to do it for the money, but you know, it's a very challenging set of principles and circumstances. So if you're talking about businesses and business finance, let's try and boil it down to its most simplistic concepts. There's really only two aspects about being a business. You've got your money coming in and you've got your money going out. And ideally, if you've got more money going in than you've got going out, then you've made a profit and you can spend that money because
or reinvest.
Or reinvest, whatever. So at a very, very basic level, that's all you really need to concentrate on. Make sure you've got more money coming in than you've got
so this
going
is
out.
Business for dummies.
Very music industry business for dummies. To be honest,
it's all business, isn't it?
It's all business.
Unless you're Donald Trump, where allegedly you can lose $1 billion.
Don't start that.
Sorry,
now,
I can't help it. The guy's a fraud.
Hashtag Greg on topic. So in terms of expenditure, right, so let's have a look at this particular band in question, who were initially, I don't know whether this is hypothetically or whether they were actually looking to do it, in terms of their travel, they were looking to take, and I think they might have been a three-piece, they were looking to take the train down to this particular gig.
Yep.
Train travel, incredibly expensive, in the UK at least. What on earth are they doing, Greg?
It's ridiculously expensive. To be honest, if they're paying £700, I think they said that was the cheapest. They would have to change trains.
Yeah, they're doing split
It wasn't
fares,
even
split fares
direct.
being cheaper.
They could have probably got a limo for less than that.
Yeah, quite possibly. Even if you don't drive, or none of you within the band drives, you could hire a splitter van for around about £100. You can get somebody to...
I'd say a bit more than that. You're probably about 150.
There's a place called Gig Wheels. I can show you later.
Okay. I bet the excess is quite high.
Looking at baseline figures, Greg. Baseline.
Okay,
figures.
right.
Okay, so yeah, so most bands will have their own vehicle or a series of cars. So even if you don't drive, you can hire a splitter van and a driver for much less than
4 cars going to a gig.
Yes.
With 4 amounts of petrol.
Digs.
And also petrol in the UK, for those Americans out there, is really expensive.
Very, very expensive. Digs. So I would say at a certain level, what on earth are you doing having the luxury of digs rather, because digs for gigs cost money. And I would say that in order to maximise the profit for every single event, you can't, you've only been going 12 months, you can't afford to be staying over in digs.
Yeah, it does seem a bit the high life. Champagne lifestyle and lemonade money. Champagne
Charlies, the lot of you. You do your gig, energy drinks aplenty, bingo, bango, bongo, you're driving back.
You're pretty much you're buying all your own food, buying all your own drinks, and literally putting your hand in and spending no money.
Again, we're trying to reduce expenditure as much as possible. Ignore the dog.
Studio dog has entered the scene.
Studio dog. Again, a good friend of mine, he's in a tribute band, and even though he might get up to 700 people at one of his typical shows, they'll still get in the van at the end of the night and drive back, simply because A, they like sleeping in their own bed, and B, they like maximising the amount of money. So even people at a specific level, they do want the most money out of every particular show. And even for that type of musician, digs can be a luxury. So
do they literally take their own packed lunches?
They don't take their own packed lunches now. But again,
but that's where the line is. For some of the other bands, taking a Tupperware pot with your lunch in.
Tuna pasta salad. So
we've all been there.
None of this ordering expensive pizzas or kebabs.
Or beer.
Or, well, beer can be quite if you bring your own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, if you bring your own.
Yeah. But again, in terms of food and drink, if you're paying out before, during, or indeed after the show, that's all an expense. It's packed lunches all the way if you want to make the most money out of every particular show.
And that's the thing, it's a case of, I suppose we were discussing before we went on camera, where's the bottom line of comfort? Yours has probably changed now as you've grown as a band, as I'm sure most people will, but if you want that, if you set your comfort level here right from the start, then it's going to take you a long time before you've actually got the additional money to buy the things that will make the money.
Yes, and indeed, so we've sort of covered a few items of expenditure. Let's look at income, and I can't believe this particular band in question didn't have any merch for sale because the money's in, I'm banging my clipboard, the money's in the merch. That's, again, if you're, in terms of your value, as we were talking about last week, if you don't intrinsically have a large commercial value and you're not getting paid much for the actual show itself, if you can make the money sort of on the back end, on the merch from selling to the people that are there, then that's a massive revenue stream that you're missing out on. As a way of an example, there's one particular company that I know that manufacture merch, and they, for 100 t-shirts, they charge £360. If you were to charge even a modest £10, and £10 is not a lot to pay for a gig t-shirt.
No, it's not.
For those shirts, you can make a clear £640 profit. Bingo, bango, bongo. You might have to sell those over quite a number of shows, but it's still profit that's being made each and every night. And so things such as badges or buttons for our American friends.
That's a stretch.
What else?
That's a button.
What else have I got down here? CDs. Almost forgot about CDs. T-shirts.
To be honest, it's the only time that people actually, I've noticed, buy CDs.
Physical. Yeah.
You know, nobody, for a start, there's very few CD stores left anymore. But, you know, it's the only time that you literally see people like excited to buy a CD.
Posters. These are all items that, again, this particular company in question, you can spend £25 to get 50 A3 posters. You can sell them for £1, sell them for £2, autograph them. So to add potential value to them all. The money's in the merch. If you don't have merch, you're not making the most money that you could do.
That's the thing. Is there a typical? Do you try to aim for 100% profit margin on your stuff?
If something costs me maybe like £5 to make, I could charge £10. So that's like 100% markup, which you might go 100%. That's a lot. What you've also got to factor in is that myself as a company, we pay VAT, so that's 20% gone off that. So I'm now only making £8, and there's potentially I've got to pay somebody to sell that. Might even be you at some point.
Occasionally, yeah.
So so it's not. So really, I should be charging more. Thank you very much for forcing my prices up, Greg. Oh, we had a few technical difficulties there.
We did.
Things crashed on us. It's not like technology to go wrong on you, is it?
Never.
So we were talking about, CDs being about the only opportunity where people, gigs rather, the only opportunity where people buy physical
I wouldn't say it's the only opportunity. It seems to be the one with the most interest.
The primary one.
Yeah.
So again, if you've not got things for sale, then you are seriously reducing your opportunity to get that income.
And also, people, you might have I know it's the old selling CDs out of the back of a car at a gig kind of thing, but in terms of like, some people might just buy one on the off chance that, I quite like that band. Otherwise, and then they'll remember you. So there's a point of memory as well.
It could be that one and only opportunity that you have to interface with that particular person.
Otherwise, you're there kind of going, we're on Spotify and then also have a band name that's easy to find.
And I think as well, I know we've been talking about gigs per se so far, and those gigs might not potentially pay a lot in the very first instance. What most musicians should really be doing is expanding what they consider a gig, and think about sort of house concerts, because the reason being is that if you've got a really engaged super fan, you can do a gig in their house and you'll probably make more money from that one person alone paying you to do a very exclusive gig within the confines of their living room than you would do from maybe a gig promoter paying you to play in their town, city sort of venue. So don't be too constrained by what a gig actually is. And you'll probably, like I say, make more money from your super fans than you will do from promoters. We've
done little private gigs here at the studio where I got the bands to invite like 5 people. And under the premise that it was really exclusive and they'd have an opportunity, and it was really successful, to be honest.
And this particular band said that the handling of money was something of a stressful issue.
They looked like they were having a whitey, literally.
The band. Let's just say that all aspects of being a musician, money is always going to be a concern in some way, shape or form. It was certainly a concern for Sting when his accountant stole about £13 million off him. And
but that's the fact he didn't notice.
How much money must you have not to notice somebody stealing millions and millions of pounds from you?
More than me.
So there's those concerns. Myself, in terms of my musical outfit, I've got the concerns of producing company accounts. We file our accounts at the company's house. We've got a VAT return. They're making VAT digital now, so I have to concern myself with digital VAT. I've got 2 emails in my inbox, one from my accountant, one from the government. I've got to pay corporation tax. So even if you have small concerns about, potentially making or not making a small amount of profit from smaller shows, just console yourself that if you do move up in terms of the musical food chain, those concerns just amplify, and you get different types of concerns. So my band make money, but that produces a different level.
All of headaches.
Yeah, a different set of headaches.
Well, one thing I was going to say is that, for a lot of bands, if you are going to start selling merch, which is what we're really kind of recommending, I would suggest to keep things nice and easy to understand regarding a paper trail would be to invest in something like a PayPal card reader. Take card payments. Okay, yes, you're going to take a hit on PayPal, but the ease of use for being able to have a complete record that you don't have to spend time with creating afterwards, and then disclosing that to everyone within the band is going to maintain a really, really good level of transparency, but also going to make life a lot easier in regard of accountability. And I think it's worth it for 3% to PayPal, which is tax deductible anyway.
It's certainly easy at the end of a night when you're not counting up all that loose change. It
took him a little while to get on it, but
I like it now.
Because not everyone's carrying cash.
Certainly in this day and age. So in summary, in terms of your band being a business, if you think more like a business, think about trying to ways of maximising your expenditure, reducing your expenses, then you are, at the end of the day, and again over a period of time, going to maximise the profits that you are sort of making. And once that does start to happen, then you become almost more attuned to it. And in terms of certainly ourselves as a band, we just had like one t-shirt, and so then you start going, all right, well, if the people who come into our shows, they've already bought that t-shirt, then we have to start maybe thinking about another t-shirt.
Oh yeah, it's literally this idea that people only buy one is like, no, they'll buy many of this, effectively the same thing if it's presented in different ways.
So we could even do a whole episode about band merch at some point in the future, if that's what you want to see.
Would it be worth, if they want it, because obviously I'm going to be filming some of the gigs, is it worth, I'm going to be doing the merch.
Let's discuss this off camera, Greg.
Okay, fair enough, sorry. I'm just saying I could just do a couple of little a panning shot of all the merch that you have, just so the people back home could see the variety. If you want it.
The punters, you at home, sorry to call you a punter, but you are a punter. Hi, great. If you want it, what do you want from us? If you don't want anything, we'll just pick topics at random, the ones that we feel are relevant. Thank you very much for watching this particular episode. We hope we've amused, entertained and informed you about all aspects of being a business. If there's something that you'd like us to talk about
or expand upon,
give you some advice therein, let us know in the comments on whatever platform you're watching this on, the Facebooks or the YouTubes. And until next time, we'll see you again.
Thank you very much.
Cheers for watching.
Bye.